Welcome to episode 6 of UnCoMfY CoNvOs. Today we are going to talk about medical school anxiety. So if you're Asian, keep listening, or any race. Like I just thought Asian, heavily skewed towards medicine. But we have an amazing guest on today. He is a fellow BU alum. He is going to be a general surgeon at the Mayo Clinic, the Mayonnaise Clinic, in Jacksonville, Florida, starting his residency in a few months. He just graduated from BU Medicine, and yeah, he's soon to be a full-blown surgeon. And he's a funny man, so he's going to be a funny full-blown surgeon, a nice funny full-blown surgeon. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest. Welcome, Biraaj Mahajan.
Hey, thank you, Shiv. I appreciate. Thank you to you. Thank you to the UnCoMfY CoNvOs platform podcast for having me. I appreciate it. Episode 6, baby. Woo!
Yeah, episode 6. Episode 6, baby. Yeah, no, we're excited to have you on. Just to get started, we want to hear about, I do. Nope, I don't have a team yet. Once it gets bigger, maybe. But I just want to hear about your initial thoughts on like the quarantine and the coronavirus epidemic, given that you're becoming a doc.
Sure. Yeah, this is a crazy time. Just to clarify, so I'm still in the final months of fourth year of medical school. So actually graduation is even graduation is up in the air if we're gonna have a ceremony or not.
Yeah.
So coronavirus has been especially disruptive for us in the sense that they've our accreditation councils, the ACGME, of graduate medical education and some other organizing bodies, they've made recommendations that are saying, keep medical students out of harm's way. Don't unnecessarily expose them to patients that are infected. And so in that regard, our university, like the undergrad campus, you might have seen some of the emails from President Brown. So the undergrad campus
I unsubscribed.
You unsubscribed.
The BU emails, yeah. Once I left the school, I'm like, I'm done.
Let me give you the TLDR. The TLDR. So basically, the undergrad campus is shut down. They're running all classes virtually. For the med school, they've told third-year students and fourth-year students that would be rotating in the hospital on clinical rotations. They've said to suspend any in-hospital activities and carry on with education virtually.
Got it. Yeah, I feel like a lot of schools are doing the virtual thing. I was talking to my cousins, and I mean, obviously in medical, it's prevalent, and then a lot of schools just are doing that. Just as I've got my friend in law school and everybody.
Yeah. And I think that's a testament to one of the ways we're going to get on the other side of this thing is this idea of social distancing, quarantining, and there's this hashtag flatten the curve. I think that's super important that people understand.
Did you just do a hashtag?
What's that?
Did you just do a hashtag?
I just did hashtag social hashtag flatten the curve. I think that's a big one, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just important that people like our age, especially, even though it's not really like coronavirus, COVID-19 isn't especially harmful to people our age group. We have to realize that we have a responsibility towards the community at large. And so if everyone can do their part and stay at home, then we can think about coming on the other side of this thing.
Right. You heard it here for the 100th time, folks. Young people, social distance so that older people don't get it. Yeah, no, that's very true. I definitely agree with that. I think that we got to stay away, especially young, like we can survive, but we don't want to give it to the elderly, our parents.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just stop with the epidemic, because everyone's talking about it. You guys are whoever's listening is gonna hear about it through other mediums. So let's just go into more about you. So what aside from being Indian, what led you into like the medical profession?
Yeah, that's a good question. Interestingly enough, neither of my parents are doctors. My papa, he's a ship captain. We have a cargo shipping company, and my mom, she's I guess like homemaker is the vocabulary. But I mean, she has the toughest job of all. She raised my sister and me. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week kind of work. There's no vacation
Yeah.
for that. So what led me into medicine, honestly, I think it was a fascination with science and those kinds of topics. Like I can distinctly remember like having a mini sleepover with my older sister. You
Yeah.
know, she's many years older, so she's like a second mom. But when she was in high school, I was uh, what was I? There's a 10 to 11 year age difference between us.
Okay.
So I was a little guy. So I remember her like quizzing me about like the lobes of the brain
Hmm.
and just random stuff like that. So I think it was just an interest that got nurtured and that got promoted, and my parents were loving enough to realize that I didn't have any major interest in the family business, and they nurtured whatever dreams I had.
Got it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Superhero status over here. It's so giving to go that route. One of the things that I thought about, and this happens in law a little bit too, but you go a lot of years without pay while studying, like in becoming a doctor, in becoming like a lawyer, like professions like that. I guess, how do you deal with that pressure? I mean, I think that's an anxiety that med school students probably experience, like, just not getting paid right away.
Oh,
So how do you think about that? Deal with it?
100%, 100%. The big thing right now actually was initially before we got sent home, med students, some subset of us were upset, of this idea of being mandated to be in the hospital
Hmm.
without getting paid or remunerated like nursing staff do, or the other physicians do, or respiratory therapists. Like every other person in the hospital is getting paid for their time there. We, on the other hand, are paying tuition, right, at a place like BU. It's like 60K every year to, in a way, provide free labor. I mean, so I mean, that was definitely something that was upsetting to like a good chunk of our class, and there were some spirited debates taking place on Facebook and other social media platforms. But in terms of viewing like going into this profession, or maybe law profession, as like a sacrifice, not earning as soon as you could be if you had gone another route, like maybe business school or something. Wink,
Hmm.
wink, hint, hint.
Oh, are
Um,
you calling me out? I went to business school.
no, nothing to call out. I think those days are gone. Like it's not so
What they
austere
call
of a
what they call
sacrifice.
question? What they SMG? They call.
SMG sex. Yeah, yeah. Sex, money, greed.
Is that what you think of me when you see
No,
me?
no, 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 not at all. Just
Got
money
it.
and greed. I know you said. No, I did you nasty. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's not gross, dude. We're all adults. Not everyone's adults, but sorry. Did I ruin your train of
At
thought?
least you know. No, no, no. So I was saying, I think that view is a little outdated. Yeah. So that it's so severe of a sacrifice, that it's so noble to pursue this profession. I think you have to be, in some sense, financially comfortable to do that. What I mean by that is, like, okay, yeah, I think many of my classmates, me included, have taken out loans, federal loans. I
Yeah.
have enough. I have enough debt. I have like over $250,000 in debt, in student loan debt, from undergrad combined with med school.
Got it.
And despite having taken out that money, I've definitely had the love and support, the financial support of my parents and my older sister. Like, they've definitely bankrolled me when interview time came about, and I had to jet set across the U.S. to go for residency interviews. So I think that's what I mean by you have to be financially comfortable to undertake this process of going to med school.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like in the way that kind of would make some students, or at least in your case, like more grateful to be able to do it. So in a way, it's like, you're just like, I guess, being grateful for the opportunity is the way you kind of don't think about it as much.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not like, oh, I'm giving up so much. It's, oh my gosh, my whole community had to rally for me to be able to accomplish this kind of thing. Yeah, so yeah, no, definitely.
So you feel like you are a hero?
No.
Community rallying behind you? I don't know. That just sounded like a very heroic. You're a hero, man.
No.
Just
you know
accept
how.
it.
Okay. So you know how people are always like, it takes a village to raise a child. That's the kind of idea I'm going for. Like, your homegrown kid from Florida, your high school invests all this time and energy in you. They groom you. You go off to college.
Yeah.
College, I think it's less on a personal level, but still, you apply yourself, you study hard, and some people in that college have invested their time and energy in you and groomed you for the next step, postgraduate studies or whatever. And in that way, like a community rallying behind you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I appreciate it if you look at me like Superman. I can go for that.
Yeah. Just put on the cape every day.
Hey, Edna Mode said no capes. You saw what happened to Dynaman or whatever.
Wait, who is it? Edna.
Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah, I remember Edna.
No capes.
I just touched my face, dude. Oh no.
Oh.
And the virus, I might get the virus. I'm fine, but that makes sense. That's good. So I'd say it seems like you stay in the present, kind of just like you're happy to be there. You feel like this is a path that like you just wanted to go on, and that kind of grounds you in like thinking about that would make you not think about financial or stuff like that. It's like, you have the support, so you're happy just to be in doing it.
Yeah, like yes, I am happy with the path I've chosen.
Yeah.
I would be lying if I told you I never had second thoughts, or I never had days where I doubted what I had done, what I had chosen as my career path. The fact of the matter is, like, majority of my peers have debt like me.
Yeah.
And that's the status quo. I mean, I have physicians senior to me, attending physicians, who still have student loan debt, and they're paying it off to this day. So it's my father had it in his own way. He had his debt to pay off,
Right.
and he did that, and then he educated my sister and me, and now it's my turn.
Right. This is going to be a deep question, but we are on UnCoMfY CoNvOs.
Yeah.
Leave it all open. Leave it all out there.
Lay it on me.
Yeah. Be free.
I'm worth it.
Be free. You're worth it. What's that song?
I think that's an Ariana Grande song.
Yeah. I don't. All right. Not Ariana Grande. Anyways, I mean, I love her. If anyone's listening and you like her, I like her because I want you to listen. But I was gonna say, do you feel like at a certain point in going in this medical journey, and I feel like in general, like when you're going into it, you start accumulating some debt, or you have, some costs in there, and you've put in a lot of time and work, and at some point you're like, all right, I want to switch. Is there anxiety across medical students of switching anxiety of like, oh, like if this isn't what I want to do, like do you think about, oh, would I want to choose another path, or maybe I'll do it down the line in the future? How do you handle that anxiety?
Yeah. Just to make sure I'm keeping it real, it's actually Fifth Harmony that sings "Worth It."
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Just so that we put that out there.
Yeah.
And in terms of your question, so I think I don't know exactly how my peers conceptualize it, but after a while, you realize that there is, uh, I guess it depends on what kind of person you are, but for me, I said, okay, there is a point of no return. Because you think about it, right? You went to college and you got your bachelor's degree in some subject. For me, it happened to be biology, neurobiology. Then you take your admission exams. I'm
Hmm.
trying to make it general, right? So if you're going to law school, you take your LSAT. If you're going to
Yeah.
med school, MCAT, dental school, the DAT. Anyway, so you take your admission exams, and then finally you start on the journey. Uh, and so at what point you draw the line of like, okay, I've invested so much time, I've invested so many of my own resources into doing this.
Hmm.
I should hunker down and persevere.
Yeah.
I think I think that's an individual conversation that takes place in everyone's head, because if you're truly not happy with
Yes.
your chosen line of work, I think the best thing you can do is realize that, and then swiftly and as appropriately stop what you're doing and then go pursue what it is that will make you happy, because
Hmm.
you're not of service to anyone. You're not of service to yourself, not to the community members that you're going to be serving,
Hmm.
not to the institution that you're becoming a part of, if you're
Hmm.
not happy doing what you want. So I think in terms of managing that anxiety myself, uh, something that's always gotten me through tough situations is, this too shall pass. None of our circumstances are so uh, concrete, set in stone. It's always changing,
Hmm.
and so it's just a matter of weathering out the storm for a transient period of time
Hmm.
before the circumstances change. So this too shall pass has kind of been a guiding mantra that has helped me navigate troubled waters. um,
These two shall pass. What does that mean?
this too shall pass.
This too.
Yeah, two T-double-O. Is it not coming through the Zoom?
Oh, this too. I thought you were saying the number two. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know what we were doing.
This also this also shall pass. Yeah,
Okay,
this
so
too.
that's the phrase now. This also shall pass.
Whatever you prefer, whatever floats your
Okay,
boat.
got it.
It's T-double-O.
This too shall pass. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Everything's like temporary. Like even if you're going through a tough patch or a rough patch, a tough patch. I'm making phrases too now.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
through a tough patch, then you just got to know that it's gonna pass over and that you'll be able to transition into something else.
Right. And let me, so to come out of the abstract and to make a concrete example of what we're talking about, third year is a particularly challenging year in med school.
Hmm.
And I think there's several reasons why, but I'll just paint you a picture. So that's the year when people start completing their rotations, and they're rotating through the different like divisions of medicine. So people have a medicine block that's 8 weeks long. They have a surgery block that's also 8 weeks long, generally. And
Hmm.
then various other blocks: neurology, obstetrics, gynecology, psychiatry, family medicine. Anyways, I had like a rough patch in third year. Um, Part of it was because I had some big rotations back to back. I had 8 weeks of medicine, and then right after I completed that, I went into 8 weeks of surgery,
Hmm.
and right after I completed that, I went into 6 weeks of obstetrics and gynecology.
Wow.
And on top of that, the timing of those rotations was such that I was completing them in the winter months in Boston. And so you take a Miami boy like me who kind of thrives on sunshine,
Yeah.
and
Will Smith type. Welcome to Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so that was going on. So back-to-back heavy rotations in the dead of winter. And on top of that, my family was traveling to India. And so so between Boston and India, there's a big time shift.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, your timings in surgery, you're waking up at like 4:30 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
getting to the hospital at 5:30, and then you're there till about 5:30 p.m. or 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're hopping in bed by hopefully 9 if you're waking up that early. So you just have those 6:30 to 9. You just have those 2.5 hours of free time to do what needs to be done. Anything: grocery shopping, studying, preparing for the next day's cases, keeping in touch with family members. So you can imagine with family in India and just having that limited time to keep in touch, you get cut off from your support system.
Yeah.
So that was an incredibly rough period in my medical school training. But what got me through eventually was understanding that this isn't what my life is going to look like. I have some easy rotations coming up, so this is just a finite period of time that's
Mm-hmm.
difficult. And then as my savior was my girlfriend, actually coming to visit me, because she understood that I wasn't myself, and she recognized that. And so she surprised me. She flew to Boston, and yeah.
That's nice of your girlfriend.
Definitely.
I'm messing with you. That's awesome, man. No, that's good. That's good that you had her, and so you did have a support system in a way that could come in and help you out, and that's that makes complete sense. That like even in that tough time, you probably were like, oh, this isn't me not liking medicine. This is like me just being away from my family. This isn't like I don't feel like I chose the wrong path. It's just like these are just tougher circumstances for, like you said in your quote, for too short a, what is it? The two
This too
this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Yeah, and maybe this is hindsight is 2020, and now I've come to rationalize that point in my life
Yeah.
and say this too shall pass. I think while I was within it, there was like an element of depression.
Yeah. Yeah.
And definitely I was questioning, is medicine for me? If this is how I feel every day going to work, is this going to fulfill me for the rest of my professional life?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like the time commitment wise, probably, and the hustle of it.
Yes and no. I've never been one to be afraid of hard work. The hours didn't scare me.
You heard it here first, folks. My Mayo Clinic, get ready. He's not afraid of hard work.
I think it was like, if I'm coming to work every day and giving my 100% or whatever I have left, if I'm giving as much of myself as I can,
Yeah.
am I receiving enough to sustain me? Like, am I receiving? I'm not saying it has to be a positive experience. I'm not saying it needs to be all mushy gushy, like, oh, Biraaj, well done, really great job.
Yeah.
But on some sense, you have to be satisfied with what you're doing. You have to receive a sense of satisfaction.
Yeah.
So,
Mayo Clinic, please tell Biraaj is doing a good job. He's doing it. He's happy. I hope they hear this.
I hope to God they don't.
No, dude, that makes perfect sense. I completely agree with you. Honestly, I think that, like you said, at a certain point, it's like there's an infinite amount of things that we all can do. Like even for me too, like for you, like for anyone. And at a certain point, you're like, you gotta, you decide which thing you're doing, and you got to go after it, like you said earlier, like make that decision, and that kind of lowers your anxiety. It's like, okay, I just chose the path I'm going to go on. I'm just going to stick with it. And like, and there's pros and cons to everyone. And it's like, there's not, one path isn't like a lot better than another. Like even like right now for me, it's like wanting to do a lot of comedy. It's like different from medicine, but it comes with its own, set of pros and cons. Like you travel a lot. It's like, there's a lot less stability. Like, but you have the benefit of seeing new people all the time. But it's like, there's always that analysis. And I think like once you're okay with what you're doing, like even medical school.
Yeah.
I think it's very impressive, because even like what you said with your schedule, like 4:30 a.m. and then getting out at 5:30, like doing that every day, and then the amount of discipline that requires is a lot,
Thank you. I like what you said though. Yeah, a lot of anxiety I think stems from uncertainty, thinking, oh, could I have been happier in another position, in another job, in another state.
Yeah.
I think as soon as you realize happiness isn't something that you're granted, it's not something you're given.
Yeah.
It's an internal state, right? That you yourself are responsible for. No one else is responsible for making you happy.
Yeah. Except for your parents.
Yeah. So actually, I don't know how we got onto happiness, but in some ways, for me, happiness and anxiety are related. Like if you're happy, I think I'm less inclined to be anxious about my circumstance, my situation, if I'm happy and content with my situation.
Yep. I completely can see that. I think that you're right. I think that if you're content with what you're doing and you just get to a place where like, okay, this is what I'm doing, like I'm going to give that my all. And like you said, it's not given to you, it's earned. And so like, even, I work like during the day, and it's like, yeah, I love comedy, but it's like, even in that, one thing I've noticed through doing it is like, I feel better when I give more, even in that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, even though that's not 100% your passion, it's like you feel better when you're more productive and you're giving more. So, and that's happiness too, just there in and of itself. It's like you being a good person and doing what you can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I always say like, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're a productive member of society.
Yeah. We figured out life right here, folks. You can stop listening. Don't stop listening, please.
There's no other episodes. Episode 6, the end all, be all.
That's the solution. That's the solution to the pandemic. All right. Just be productive doing what you're doing inside your house all day. Vacuum 20 times if you have to feel productive. All right, I'm going to get more granular into the medical school experience and the anxiety of it. I've heard that they're very competitive, that there's a lot of studying going on, and that, you have to want to be the top, and that happens in all fields, but in medical school particularly. And I've heard of stories of people doing like Adderall, doing different, cocaine. I haven't heard cocaine. I don't think cocaine helps you studying. I've heard people doing Adderall and like doing stuff like that. Have you been around that? Have you experienced that? Have you been inclined to, take a performance enhancing drug, like they do in sports?
Yeah. By yeah, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying.
Yes, you take the drugs.
I understand the question posed to me, Your Honor. No, I'm thinking of that. You've watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm thinking of that time when Will Smith takes some Adderall to boost his performance at what it is, Bel-Air High, Bel-Air. So it's
that made you do it.
No.
Oh, sorry, Mayo Clinic. I'm sorry. That's not. He didn't do that.
Yeah. So you're right. Medical school, like many other, educational efforts, is definitely competitive. I think one thing that's mitigated that, I don't know other schools, but at BU, our first year and our second year, there are no grades handed out. It's pass fail.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you're not really in competition with your classmates. There's no numbers being awarded. You just know that you've scored enough to pass the course or fail the course and then remediate it. So that's one way to cut down on the competition. Definitely, in terms of board exams, because that is very, very important for defining what you can pursue, what you're competitive in, what specialties you're competitive in. Our board exams, like the step 1, step 2, historically those were those are anxiety provoking, because it's this one exam. It's like, think back to high school when you had to take SAT, ACT, and that dictated which colleges you could go to. Similar. Depending on your score on this exam, it's a roughly 8-hour exam, and you're taking like 240 multiple choice questions. Don't quote me on any of these numbers, but yeah, you're taking 240 multiple choice questions about all of medicine, and you don't have any reference books. You just have whatever you've memorized and studied up until that time, and you walk into test site. So depending on your score on that exam, you get to apply for certain specialties and at certain tiered institutions.
Yeah.
So in that environment, yeah, I've definitely seen I've heard of my classmates needing
Medicine in order to do well in the
performance enhancing drugs, as you say. Yeah, and I think Adderall is the common culprit. Definitely that happens. I won't lie.
You won't lie?
I won't lie.
You won't lie.
I'm raising my hand for all podcast listeners and my heart.
Yeah. So you've seen them taking the drugs. Now, how are they doing it? Is it like a secret, or do they feel like, are they sniffing the Adderall? I don't know. I've never done it.
So I've never seen anyone take it. I think you take it the normal way, by mouth, PO.
You take it in the behind.
No.
Regular. Oh, okay. I thought that's how I take my vitamins in the morning. I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh, dude. Mommy Patel has scarred you. Yeah, no. People are just, it's just not, the problem is it's not been prescribed to them. There's no issue with taking the medicine if you've been diagnosed appropriately, right? With like an attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADD, ADHD. If you're taking your medicine that's been prescribed to you, no issues. It's when people start taking their friends' medicine, right? They don't have the diagnosis and they need something to help them focus, so they start taking a few of their friends' pills.
Got it.
That's the issue, and they're taking it by mouth, just so everyone knows.
Yeah. But there are other orifices if you prefer.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can put it in any orifice you want.
Yeah. And that's not weird. That's just the fact. Just so you know.
You keep telling yourself that, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's true. You can do it however you want. All right. This is America.
This is America. That's true.
If you're in India, maybe you couldn't. No, you probably still could. Nobody's paying attention to how you ingest. We'll move on. How do you? That's intense, dude. Let's not move on, because I think that's really cool. That's not cool that people do drugs, but I mean, it is cool because it's different. But I think that, like, if people are taking Adderall, that's it. Adderall's the only thing that they take in med school. Oh, come on. You said no lie.
To my knowledge, I'm sure there are variations on drugs used to treat ADHD, ADD. Yeah. So Adderall, I think that another one is Vyvanse. So there's slightly different formulations.
Wow, it seems like you know a lot about this stuff. I wonder if you've done it.
No. So I think what is cool to your comment, like when we usually think about drug seeking behaviors, the end goal is like, oh, I'm just looking for the high, right?
Yeah.
That would be an oversimplification.
Yeah.
The what evolves is people take the drug, they no longer achieve the same high that they did, they develop a tolerance, and now the issue is they need to take increasing amounts of said drug to feel normal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what kind of contributes to things like our opioid epidemic and our issue with drugs like that.
Yeah.
What to come back to our conversation, what's interesting is here there's no thought of immediate instant gratification from taking this drug. It is the thought that if I take this drug, I will be able to perform better, and it'll lead to a later downstream effect of better performance, and at the end my life will be better because I'll have accomplished more.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I would say it to that point too. It gives you more confidence in your future, like your confidence in what you're doing, and then it leading to good results. And I'd say in a way that Adderall like would lower like anxiety in medical school, like among students. It's like, or at least some of them, if it could give a placebo.
That's interesting. I would disagree. I would offer.
How dare you? This is my podcast.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. You have to agree. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I would think if you accomplish at level X, right? You took Adderall in med school, and fine, you studied and you applied yourself, and you got into the residency that you wanted to, residency program you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would be sorry about that. I would be having thoughts of, okay, like now how dependent am I on this substance for my performance? Like I'll have to be taking this throughout residency to accomplish as much as I did in medical school. Like is my having access to this drug, is that gonna impact the way I take care of my patients? Things like that. Like,
yeah. When it becomes habitual, it becomes a problem, basically.
Yeah,
because it's like you dependence.
I think the problem is when you when drug seeking behaviors end up dominating your your day.
Yeah.
The majority of your day is now spent in trying to acquire the substance and pay for it, acquire it, take it. So that's what becomes problematic.
Yeah. So that makes sense. That's really insightful. I think you're right. That's like the line. So given that you don't take drugs, as you said, no lie, you put your hand up.
Yeah.
Given that you don't do those, how do you unwind from like the, just med school and having to study and be at the residency and doing so much to get there?
So again, in the spirit of no lie, I do some drugs.
Okay.
Namely caffeine and a little bit of alcohol.
Got it. Yeah.
But I think
that's the most people don't. So that's a little strange, but
most people don't classify those. Yeah.
No, they don't have caffeine or alcohol. Same here. I occasionally do too, if we're gonna be honest.
You've graduated from the chocolate milk? Is that true?
We'll talk about that. We can talk about that after.
No, what I was gonna say is, I think attacking things from perspective of maintaining balance, right? There's like, from 6 to 6, you're at work and you're applying yourself there. But then, when you're not at work, the important thing is to detach, decompress, not bring home your stressors at work, not let that pervade the other domains of your life. When you're at home, you should be consumed with at-home things, making dinner, taking care of the sprinkler situation in the front yard,
Yeah.
walking the dog, you know?
I have
And
an apartment, so I don't have the sprinkler system yet, but one day.
one day, white picket fence dream.
Yeah.
So that's one way that I manage my anxiety. It's compartmentalizing those different domains of my life,
Hmm.
and then yeah, sometimes you do have a tough day, and you need a little help. Um, and so I look to it in good conversation with my friends, and then making sure I never drink alone.
And then some
Uh,
scotch, right?
and some no,
Oh,
that's very
okay, got it.
stereotypical. I like rum.
I was just wondering what you do. I'm not saying that you did it. I was just wondering.
No. Scotch is good. Scotch is good. Nothing against Scotch. I like rum. I
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
rum.
yeah.
Captain Morgan.
Yeah, I like all of them. I know all of them too. I know the names of all of the alcohols. Uh, but yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. That makes sense. That sounds very healthy too. You're finding good ways to relax in healthy ways. It's like by talking to people. Like honestly, I same thing here. Like I mean, obviously medical school super intense, and like even in business school and like now like doing comedy, it's like not it's intense, but not nearly as much or as high stakes as like what you guys do, especially becoming a surgeon. But it definitely similar. Like having those good ways to unwind is gonna help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. And stresses that you've felt are they're no less. They're not insignificant compared to stresses I've felt. To be honest, I don't exactly know what it's like to lose a patient yet.
yeah,
I don't exactly know what it's like to be caught in a situation where you could have done something to save someone's life, but logistically all the moving parts didn't come together, and so you lost that patient. I don't know what that's like. So
yeah,
that'll also be new territory for me.
yeah.
Uh, the the
That's actually one of my last one of my points, one of my final concluding kind of conversation topics. It's like when you're in those high stakes situations, like you said, like you haven't had to deal with that yet. Um, I guess like my question to you is, and I know you just said you hadn't experienced it, but it's like, how would med school students or people becoming surgeons, like, how do you prepare for that? How do you mentally prepare for that in school? Or like, have you heard from people that are like, oh, this is how you kind of should manage it because it's going to be what's happening?
I don't think anyone has like the magic bullet like approach to
Yeah,
how do you deal with those kind of situations, or these are the 5 steps you need to take to appropriately deal with a situation like that.
yeah,
um, what I have had are experiences where I'm a little removed, so I'm not the one necessarily primarily taking care of the patient, but I've been involved in the care of patients that
hmm,
have been in critical situations, critical health, and then they die, they pass. They instruct us on a couple things. Is take a minute, to realize, to appreciate what's happened, because it's really easy to just go from taking care of that patient, experience that loss, and then you know you 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 pronounce the patient, you fill out this paperwork, and then that's it. You don't have really any time to decompress if you don't take it.
hmm,
Then you're on to the next task, and you're taking care of someone else, and something more urgent has popped up that requires your attention.
yeah,
And so if you don't make the time to sit down and process what's happened, um, it's very easy for it to just get kind of swept under the rug, and then it'll bubble up at the most inopportune time
hmm,
if you don't address it. So that's definitely something that we get counseled about. As far as what it means to take a minute and process what's happened, what are the things that you do, how do you avoid falling into this trap of, oh, what could I have done better, where did I mess up, what will I how will I make sure this never happens again? I don't know exactly the answers to that.
yeah,
Again, I think it's something you can't do in isolation. You have to do it in the presence of somebody to make sure you don't go down that rabbit hole.
yeah,
Someone can be like, no, dude, that was totally out of your hands, or that aspect of what happened was totally out of your hands.
Yeah. And it's the nature of what you do, the work. It's just like, it's necessary. Like, you're gonna win and you're gonna lose. It's like just how it happens. It's like, I feel like you get these random cases of people, and like they're in these dire circumstances, and you know, sometimes it's way too late. Like, whatever you did was more like, that was all you could do, and that's it, right? And like, that's one way to process, probably.
Right. Yeah. Or like, you did the best with the information that you had at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I talked to one of our fellow friends who's also becoming a surgeon, and he spoke about that. Huh? Kirti,
yeah.
And he said a similar thing. It's just like, you did your best. Like that. Like I feel like the emotional maturity and the emotional, like the management of emotions among people like surgeons is probably so strong, because it's like, you have to deal with that, and learning how to deal with that. And as you keep going through it, like you probably learn how to deal with it effectively and in a healthy way. But that's like, I don't know, I feel like you're exposed to something that's so the most intense part of life, like death, like more regularly than like I would be as a comedian. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't dying at my shows, maybe dying laughing. You know what I mean? But like not passing away, you know?
That might be a rose glasses colored perspective, in the sense that surgeons should be best at handling their emotions.
I'm not saying they should be. I'm just saying, like,
they have the opportunity,
have learned how to manage over time.
It's hard to know. So surgeons have this stereotype. I don't know if you know, but we have a stereotype of being kind of, among other things, like just harsh, brash are the words that come to mind. Like, I think it's rare to have. So maybe the other thing is rare. I don't know. There's this negative stereotype of surgeons as being not attuned to other people's emotions. They know what they want, and they know that they want it now or yesterday. And so there's often this stereotype of the surgeon being angry, right, at things not being prepared the way they need them to be, they want them to be, and it's the rest of the world versus them, and they're hampering the surgeon's ability to do what it is the surgeon wants to do.
Got it.
That's often the stereotype. And from my experiences, I think as soon as you lose that emotional intelligence of being able to understand, okay, why is it that people are doing what they're doing? What is it that they're feeling that's causing them to act or behave the way they're acting? As soon as you lose that, or you're not in tune with that, then you have these misunderstandings, and over time you build up this persona of someone who's just not understanding and upset and angry, and then that morphs how people behave towards you even before they've met you.
Yeah, that makes sense. So not falling into that mindset of like you versus the world, and like trying to create habits or maybe a mindset that avoids you from thinking like, oh, these other people are out to get me, or like they're sabotaging what I'm doing. And
yeah,
that makes sense. That's intense, man. That's you gotta protect Mayo Clinic. Biraaj does not fit the negative stereotype of surgeons. He has the right mindset coming in. Dude, they're gonna be, once they listen to this, they're gonna have a blast having you in on the first day. They're gonna be like, this guy's gonna be amazing.
Can we put this on like a protected mode or something, like limited share? Like,
no,
share.
I'm actually gonna send it specifically to Mayo Clinic. I'm gonna drop it in. They probably have an email, right? Like an email across the country.
They definitely have an email.
Yeah. I can't wait to send it there. I'll CC you.
Yeah. BCC me, please.
I'll CC you in a way that you can't write in the thread. No, that's really insightful. I think that's really helpful to know about and to talk about for listeners becoming a surgeon, not becoming a surgeon. To close this out, I want to play a quick game. It's just like medical trivia questions, basically.
Okay.
So we're going to start out a little serious, and then we're going to get to actually, you just, be ready.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna rapid fire real quick. Ready? What is the largest bone in the body?
Oh, I think it's got to be your femur.
Let's see. Correct. It's the femur.
Boom, baby. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah, Mayo Clinic. Hell yeah. Mayo Clinic. What? Oh, okay. What is removed during a cholecystectomy?
Are you saying cholecystectomy?
Cholecystectomy, yeah.
That's your gallbladder. That's a gallbladder removal surgery, baby.
Gallbladder correct. Hell yeah, dude. Wow. Yeah, I thought coming into this, maybe you wouldn't be able to answer the questions, but you're on point so far.
Bro.
Bro.
I paid over 60 times 4. I paid a lot of money to learn another language, basically.
Yeah. 60 times 4 is 240. You paid $240?
240K, baby. 240K.
Oh, okay. Got it. That is a lot of money. During fertilization, so this is when people have sex, the egg and sperm join to form the what?
Oh, this is a little further down south. This is my OB-GYN.
Of course it's down south on all people's bodies.
This is OB-GYN territory, but I think it's the zygote. The egg and the sperm form the zygote. What is ZYGOTE?
That's correct, dude. That's correct.
You were going to say zygote, weren't you?
No. I wasn't going to say it at all. I was just going to wait for you to answer it. Okay, we'll do two more.
Two more.
Okay. No, that's too easy. You're doing well, so I don't. Herpes zoster is another name for what? I can give you choices, or do you know?
So herpes zoster, as opposed to herpes simplex. Herpes zoster is another name for shingles.
Dude, hell yeah! And it's a multiple choice too, and you didn't even need the multiple choice.
Oh, what are the answers? Maybe I would have gotten confused.
Chickenpox, tuberculosis, smallpox, shingles, genital warts.
Okay, yeah. So chickenpox is what leads to shingles.
Okay.
Is the reactivation. So chickenpox is varicella zoster. Okay. And then genital warts is also a type of herpes that you never want to be familiar with. So I'm not even going to tell you about it.
Got it. Well, I'm. What if I have it?
That's okay. No judgment.
Well, I just want to know what it is, because how do I know if I have it if I don't know what it is?
Okay, sure. They are little bubbles or vesicles. That's the medical term. Bubbles filled with pus. That are on a reddened. Erythematous is the medical term. Reddened base.
What's the literal term though? I don't know the medical terms.
The literal term? I'm less familiar with that. Hold on, I always get confused. Which one's the clap? I think chlamydia is the clap.
I don't know. I'm just saying, what surface are the bumps on? What it's on?
They're on. Okay, so on they can be on the penis.
Oh, that's gross, Biraaj. Come on, man. You can't say that on the podcast. Really?
Come on.
Oh, come on. That's gross.
I'm sorry.
My mom might listen to this.
What is this rated? PG? PG-13?
Well, now it's R or above R. Clearly.
I didn't even mention the female anatomy. I guess I won't.
Yeah, please don't. That was enough. That was really enough. I didn't. We'll talk about that after, but that was too much, man. All right, we'll do one more. We'll do two more. So blank is a rare disorder in which the blood does not clot properly.
What is hemophilia?
That's correct.
Were there, wait, was that another multiple choice?
Yes.
I apologize. I stole your thunder. You should tell me.
No. I want you to answer them without the multiple choice. That's more impressive, and that's going to make people have more faith in your surgeon skills.
Thank you.
Who's listening? We have a good surgeon coming up at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. Shout out to Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. We're gonna do one more question.
Okay.
What is an Indian's favorite bone?
What's an Indian's favorite bone?
Yeah. What's an Indian's favorite bone? Particularly Gujaratis. It's a particular type of Indian. What's an Indian's favorite bone?
What's a Gujarati's favorite bone? Oh, hold on. What do Gujaratis like? Ambition, money, fafda.
Yeah. Money and greed, not sex.
Not sex. Hey, no. There's a whole continent that would argue that Gujaratis like sex.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I mean, they did reproduce a lot.
Is there a multiple choice for this one too? Because I'm stumped.
No, I created this one.
Oh, lay it on me, dude. I don't know. What bone is a Gujarati's favorite?
Just guess. You do a quick guess. Just randomly. Why you have a 1% or very low chance, but just do it.
Yeah. I don't know. The funny bone?
No. Nice try. You probably shouldn't have even said you probably shouldn't have even guessed. I'd say the patella.
Oh my gosh! How did I not put that
together?
Patel? Patella. Oh my goodness. The Patel.
Yeah, I just feel like people don't talk about that enough.
Dude, that's quality.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I thought about it quickly. All right, dude. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. Any plugs you want? I mean, I usually have like some entertainers on this and people who like have like shows, but any plugs you want to do to anyone? Say anything to anyone listening. I mean, the listeners on this podcast, I think they're going up towards 1 trillion. So
nice. No, I want to plug. Can I plug for you? Because I'm excited with all the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Please tune in to Shiv Patel's podcast as soon as we get a handle on this coronavirus business and Shiv comes out of his bat cave and does stand up. Please go patronize his shows. Heckle him on my behalf. I'll text you what to heckle him with. But yeah, thank you, dude, for creating this opportunity and inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
really.
No worries. And for the record, I am in a bat cave. I'm in a cave with bats. It has Wi-Fi, surprisingly, and but the bats are pretty. Actually, I think the corona stemmed from bats, so that's not even.
Let's not even
talk about that. Yeah. So I'm not in the bat cave. Let's go away with that joke. And I have not been bitten by a bat. I'm safe. Listening to this is safe. You're not going to get the virus listening. Even to this episode or the next upcoming episode on dolphin anxiety. That's a sound a dolphin makes when we'll be making those sounds. So if you want to hear those and learn about general animal anxiety, tune into the next episode. Thank you, Biraaj, for being on.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. This has been your boy Shiv. As usual, keep it cool, everybody, and real. Yeah.